Hello, welcome to the first episode of Wrestling Mates. This is a channel that we had started a while ago, and it's been primarily around, wrestling fantasy, video editing, and stuff like that. But we are switching it up because, we can't stop talking about wrestling and we want to do more than just, put clips together. But my name is Amit. My mate here is Jonathan, two huge wrestling fans from the opposite sides of the world. I'm located in Australia and Jonathan's in Texas. So, Jonathan, man, what was your thoughts on Raw on Netflix, man? What were your highlights? What did you love about it? What did you hate about it? Let's start with what you loved about it. What was the first thing you loved?
For me, I love how the introduction to it. So that whole drape they had over the ring, wow. And had the projections on it. That was freaking amazing. It made it felt like a movie. I felt like I was watching an introduction to a movie, not like a wrestling show. So
I definitely agree with you on that. The production, that video gave me chills, man. I love whenever wrestling goes. I love whenever wrestling dips into history, and this was beyond just the Attitude Era or the Golden Era or Bret Hart clips. It actually went back to hey, wrestling in terms of entertainment, in terms of the Roman wrestling style and things like that. So it went back to that style. I was like, wow, this is taking me back and giving us it was just well produced. It was just well done. The video itself was so well done, and even the whole fact of it was on that drape, as you said, and it reveals Triple H out underneath it. It's
like Michael Jackson or somebody.
Yeah.
Now I was gonna say, what kind of helped with that whole video package? I don't think people made a connection, but the Vince McMahon documentary that came out before, because. Guys, I was telling Amir, off camera, because we talk about this every day. I was telling him the Vince McMahon doc, it was more like a history lesson on WWE, because we found out a lot. We found out that Hulk Hogan was one of the first guys, and so seeing all that play out, I think they went from Hulk Hogan to current time with Roman Reigns and everybody in that whole video package.
They did, yeah. That was great, and it's a good way to start because coming in, my expectations of this were probably a bit higher, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff we didn't like as well a little later. But coming in, I do realize that this is Netflix; it's a new platform. So the Vince documentary and how it was a documentary on wrestling, not just about Vince. Netflix on Raw kind of also felt more tailored towards the masses and trying to get people people that either haven't watched wrestling since they were kids. So we're talking about the 90s or 2000s, or people that haven't watched wrestling at all. And just what's this wrestling thing? Is it like UFC? Is it like boxing? What's the connection? Or is it just a fake show? Is it a soap opera? It's kind of a mix of everything. So that's what Netflix did. But I mean, the other thing I liked about this whole thing was, I know that we both sort of kind of tuned into the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul boxing match, and the buffering was terrible, and that was the biggest talking point from that show. It was unwatchable at times, but this one was, at least I don't know what your experience was, but my one, not one issue, not one buffering issue, was completely fine.
It was smooth. I think they probably learned from that Tyson fight. Yep. Did you catch what The Rock said? He was like, if The Rock is glitching, I'm gonna go Squid Games on you. Yeah. But it was it was no issues. Because since we talk about the highlights, I want to get into what I don't like. But because I'll let you take it, because I don't want to trash the show just quite yet.
No. There'll be plenty of time for that, so. No. I mean, in general, look, about us, we're pretty positive. We don't like to trash wrestling that much, but we will criticize and we will call it out when it's not done right? So letting you guys know in the audience, we're not just gonna talk highly of this. We are gonna be critical where it deserves to be critical. But I guess overall, I did again, there were probably two of the main highlights, just the fact that it worked really well. And the in-ring wasn't too bad. I thought it was I didn't have too many issues with the in-ring. It became a little bit repetitive. And I'll get into that a little bit more with some of the ways the fights went out. But I mean, it's good to see CM Punk now. I can say he's officially I guess because remember when CM Punk came back and the whole worry was after injuring himself at the Royal Rumble, can this guy even wrestle anymore? And now after being on so many shows, this is another example of CM Punk can go. He's probably not the same as he was back then, but he can have a match and a good one. So that's another positive. Like another positive is the end of the Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan saga. I hope, because that one was just dragging, man. I'm not sure what you think about it, but that one was for me just like, yeah, we can move on from these two.
It was almost like Tom and Jerry, because like at first, like Liv, she kept like running away from like Rhea like weekly. It's like it was the same thing. The music hit, she runs away, but I do like how they made Liv seem more powerful though.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, it went from like Rhea's music hitting and then Liv running away in the crowd to like Rhea's music hitting and Liv was just kind of like standing there, like waiting for it. Even at one point, she just walked up to her and like, but I'm gonna miss the Liv era, man. Like I didn't like her at first, but it's like I like how she's so unlikable. It's almost like she's she's a mean girl at school, like the mean girl at school that everybody got a crush on. But
yeah, I mean she's a proper heel, right? That's also what I like about her. It's like Rhea Ripley was a heel to begin with, but then she became like, it's kind of the same as like sort of Tiffany Stratton is now. Like they're both heels, but like they're so over that like even if they're doing like bad stuff, they're still getting crowd reactions. So it kind of puts like, it's like you're kind of a heel, but you're kind of not. So it's like with Liv Morgan, at least she's not getting anyone, like no one cheers for Liv. Like, like they can appreciate what she's done. And yeah, she had a fantastic year. But I mean, I don't think it's over for her. I hope they have a good story for her, like beyond just this Rhea Ripley story, because that would be sad if it's like, she had the Rhea Ripley story and then she just completely disappears and like we just don't have any other good like creative for her. So she's just stuck in limbo. That's a concern for both of them, man. Like I don't know what they're going to do, Rhea or Liv, or to be honest, even the women's division, it was held up almost by this rivalry. So
I see.
Let's see what they do.
I see a split in the Judgment Day. That's what I see coming. I see like team fan, team Liv.
Yeah.
Because to me, I feel like they're building up to it because it's like it's almost they letting Finn get away with too much too easily. Like, yeah, of course, Finn. Like, if you listen to you, we're going to win and stuff like that. It's like they give it to him too easy. So I feel like that may be the future story, like the split of the Judgment of the the Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. No, that's definitely possible. We could see that. We could see. I don't know really where to go from them. Like, I feel like Judgment Day, like, were on like the top of the mountain. I think after SummerSlam, like they were like the hottest story. Like, what's going to happen next after, Dominic Mysterio basically betraying Rhea. That was such a good moment. That was such a good highlight of the year. So then after that, it was just like, I mean, Bash at Berlin was good when Finn backstabbed Priest, but they didn't follow up on that story at all. So that kind of also fell flat. But I guess we're just moving off from the Judgment Day. We'll get back to them for sure. But the other thing I really liked about this is just like, man, it kind of, when I was watching the intro video and then sort of The Rock came out, like we'll talk about The Rock as well, but in terms of like just the fact that wrestling is on Netflix now.
Netflix, I love you.
Kind of just, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like validation or something like that. It's like, hey, here's this fan base, this really niche fan base. I love wrestling. It's not for everyone, but it's now being shown on Netflix, like the most popular platform ever, right? It's no longer, on like some niche service. Like here we have it on a platform called Binge, which is not a popular platform at all. In the US, I'm not sure how popular, like where it is in terms of like what network it's played on. But like if it's on Netflix, it's like it's automatically a big deal.
Welcome to the Netflix era.
So like everybody has eyes to it. So it's like, wow, this is just going to expand wrestling. Despite whatever happened on the show, the fact that Raw and like for me, everything is on Netflix just makes it so that wrestling is it's just got so many more eyeballs on it. Like every week they're going to be promoting something. They're going to have so many new shows coming. Like I think I switched on, like I checked it on the day before and I sent you a video just to show like, what, all the content I have. And it had like, from like, from like the early 2000s and stuff like that. So I randomly chucked on like a SmackDown episode and I was like, wow, like I can just watch whatever. And it's so clearly like labeled. It's like the user interface is so clean. It tells you like what the show is going to be about. The other one I had was just like, SmackDown, episode 5, season 3 or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, I can go into it, but I have no idea what I'm watching. On Netflix, it's so clear. So that's that's a huge positive.
Yeah, I hope it lasts because it seems like every few years they switch. Because you remember first it was the WWE Network, and then after that, wasn't it something else before Peacock? Or did it go to WWE Network? Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's always the same for me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, here in the States, it was the WWE Network for a long time, and then it was Peacock, and now they went from Peacock to Netflix. So I'm wondering if it's like a contract type of thing where every 5 years they have to renew it or just move to another platform, but hopefully they stay on Netflix and just let that be their home. Yeah.
I think I hope it says on Netflix. And I was thinking about it before. It's a bigger deal. It's on Netflix because I was thinking what if Amazon Prime had bought Raw? Would it be the same? Would it have the same?
No.
It was
No.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. Netflix is the peak of streaming, so they made the right choice.
Yeah, they did, man. So that's there's a lot to like about the fact that this is the new direction of Netflix of sort of wrestling. Let's pivot a little bit, man, to what we didn't like, and we're probably going to talk more on this one, but